Oh, please tell me we can hear me now. I've remembered to turn the microphone on this time. We're having a little bit of a nightmare. Just 1 second. Let me just go in my little fridge here. With me. It is Friday after all. Oh, right. So, just giving you a little update because I know a lot of people are waiting for the test results, but the tests come to a little stop temporarily. How we doing, Andy? We okay, mate? So I'll tell you why. We've been a little bit delayed, a little bit behind schedule. Let me just get a first little sip. Oh, ice cold. Okay, so I've been meaning to get round to doing the test. Now, ultimately, I've got it all set up to do the pull test. Everything's in place. And then when I was set to do it, I managed to trap a nerve in my neck the other day. So that's delayed me a little bit because I've literally been laying on the couch for the past 2 days until someone kindly gave me these, what are these called? I'm not a big fan of taking medicine. Let me just see the name of them in case any of you have heard of them. Gabapentin tablets. And I feel right as rain. I can turn my head, I can move. I've literally been walking around like the Elephant Man for 2 days, but now I feel good. Anyway, so today I've done a little bit of work and I thought, right, let's get this test done today. Let's do it now. And I've come back. It's all set up. As you've seen, if you looked at the thumbnail of this video, you can see how I've set it up. I've got an axle stand. I've got a metal bar across the top. I've got the scales hanging off it. I've got a jack under the other end of the metal bar. I've got a clamp holding the scales in place. The scales go down to a G-clamp, which loops nicely through the scrim. So it's a nice even pull. And I just started turning the jack because you can do it by hand. You know, don't need a wrench. I'm not lifting a car up. Just started turning the jack slowly. Had the tripod set up with the camera filming it all. And what I found out is, where are these bloody scales? Oh, there's a lot there set up. What I found is, if you don't turn the thing fast enough, the scales, the screen of the scales locks the fishing scales. So I'm assuming it's sort of like as soon as the fish is meant to settle, the numbers lock, and then you can take them off and you don't lose the reading. But that's no good for me because I don't want to crank it up dead fast. I want to slowly turn it and watch what the maximum sort of weight goes to, in a sense, the maximum sort of pull. So it's yeah, bit of a nightmare because if I don't do it quick enough, it stops. So I've had to reorder some scales, and what I've gone with now is a what the hell was that? Oh, little metal splinter. Yeah, I was grinding metal as well before. See me there like a big girl. I got a little metal splinter. I've gone with the the scales like what your mum used to have in the kitchen, the ones that go round, like when you stand on it and the little dial spins round. I've ordered some of those now. They're not going to be here till tomorrow. So tomorrow evening we will crack on with the test. And the good thing about it is we might not see at which point, if your eyes aren't quick enough, you might not be able to see at which point when it rips out what the weight is. But the good thing is it'll all be on camera, so we'll be able to, I'll be able to go back and watch it in slow motion and see where it gets up to. So that's why you wait a little bit for these test results, because I've been Frankenstein walking around like this until like I say, I've had a little bit of pain relief last night, and I felt great today. I can still feel it. When you get a crick in your neck, it's a bit like that. But I mean, I've had a crick in my neck loads of times, and it was nothing compared to this. I was on my hands and knees on the bed, like, help. So, and then, like I say, these scales locking off, it just doesn't help it doesn't help the cause at all. So, anyway, that's why there's been no videos now. Ultimately, it's bad for me as well. If I don't sort of knock out a video every week, it's sort of bad for business on YouTube. Like the earnings start dropping off. It's good to sort of keep content out. Well, that's what's going on anyway. And just didn't want you guys getting disappointed and wondering what had happened. Mm. Kieran Thomas, Andy, how you doing, fellas? Johnny H, Jameer Ali, strong stuff. Yeah, they're only 30 milligrams then, but yeah, they seem to be working just a treat, mate. BB, do a waterproofer, then SBR test, work the treat. Yeah, we've got a few sample boards ready to do a test on, mate. Michael Dix, evening pal. Don't forget a free giveaway if the SBR doesn't win. Mate, I don't want to say too much, but my love for SBR, I mean, I'm still going to use this stuff, but it's not. It's not. I mean, we haven't done a pull test on it yet, but the suction test, mate, it wasn't the winner. But we'll see. We'll see what the well, it say it wasn't. It was, but in different categories. It's one in one category, but not in another category. Okay, so if you apply it the same day and go over it, yeah, it's a bit of a winner. But if you do it if you let things completely seal, there's better things that you can do than just SBR, according to the test results, anyway. So, Mbod, careful driving on them tablets. Well, I know, flipping at me. I had some last night, and it literally put me to sleep. Like literally, just I don't know if it was them or if it was because I was tired and in pain all day. But literally, I just couldn't keep my eyes open. So, yeah, the whether it's them, mate, they seem quite powerful. Um, Ryan MC, off topic, Kirk, but I need help. Have you got any tips on how to get jaw to finish to stop blistering? Uh, um, no, no. Ultimately, mate, have you tried? Have you tried sponge floating it and then hitting it when it starts to blister? Hit it with the sponge float, spray bottle sponge float, and then trowel it. I'm not a big fan of the sponge float, but it does come in handy for a few different things. Maybe give that a whirl, mate. Plaster Moldings, Evening Chief, just got myself a Guinness out the garage. Spot on. Happy days. Mike R1, evening. Poopot, hello, Kirk. Good to see you and you, mate. M-Bod's on the King Goblin himself. Love the hail. Oh, so yeah, just thought I'd let you know anyway. That's what's going on. Who would have thought it? When I was pulling the scales, they worked perfect. But the minute you stop, the minute you don't move them for like 2 seconds, the screen looks. Because I was thinking, I'm applying more and more tension. I can see the scrims getting more and more taut, but the scale's not reading nothing. Took me a minute to figure out what was going on. So fortunately, I didn't spoil it. I just stopped. Dave Harding, Kirk only just got. Have I missed the big reveal? No, you haven't, Dave. I'm just saying, mate. The scales that I'm using or that I was using, I've had to can them. They've had to go. The lock. If you don't, the minute you stop moving for 2 seconds, Dave, the scales lock the numbers, and then you're applying more pressure, and nothing's reading. So I've had to can them, and I'm getting some like what your mum had in the kitchen. You know, the ones that the dial spins round. And we're going to have to use those ones. Now, ultimately, that locking feature would have been quite nice if it could tell us exactly what point when the scrim ripped up, if it and the weight dropped. But I suppose they're not designed for that. So we'll use the dial version, and we're going to film it at the same time. So we'll get a good idea of what's going on. Ryan MC, tried the sponge, mate. The gear is murder to work with. Yeah. Don't really have used jaw to finish myself, mate. So I'm sort of stumped to give you any advice on that. Ross Scougal, Kirk, your roll-on gauge technique worked the treat 2 sealers at the same time. Your videos are making me much faster. Plasterer, thank you again. Spot on, Ross. I like. I'm glad you like the rolling gauge. It was interesting. I did the video on the rolling set, and someone said to me, "That's just what's the point in doing that? You've only got four little ceilings. Just do two in the morning, two in the afternoon." But missed the whole idea, the whole concept of what I was trying to say. If you've got a ceiling maybe that's, I don't know, 70 square meters, then the rolling gauge, you can literally roll the whole ceiling. So, you'll do one section and you'll be moving along. And by the time you get to the end of it, you'll be first coating the end of the ceiling and polishing the start of the ceiling. And the whole thing goes in with no joint line, trowels up lovely. And one man can do it quite comfortably by himself with someone mixing, rather than you having like three plasterers all going like lunatics. That's where I use it in them situations when you've got massive gauge that you've got to get done and you're on your own. Save having to call another plasterers. You can sort of keep all the money for yourself, can't you? Plaster moldings. Do you ever get involved in fibrous work? Not really. I have done a little bit. I like doing it, but I never get called to do it. But if you would like me to come and help you do a few jobs, I'll be more than happy to come along, mate. And I actually, I enjoy it. I wouldn't even mind coming along for nothing for you, just to give you a hand, just to get a little bit more involved. Because I'm sort of, when it comes to the moldings, I'm self-taught, and I've been along with a fella called Lee Henry, a fibrous plasterer from over at the Whittle, lovely fella, and he was showing me a few other little things. But ultimately, I'd like to get more and more into it, just for the change of scenery, to be honest with you. So if you fancy it, mate, and you're not a million miles away, give me a shout and I'll come over and give you a lift one weekend. Yeah, I know Lee. He's a nice fella, isn't he? Sound Lee. Stephen Hodgkinson, evening, Kurt, mate. Johnny H. Got a ridge in plasterboard joint before skimming multi or hardwall on new plasterboard. Don't want to buy a whole bag of bonding. Oh, yeah, I know the feeling, mate. Fill it out with a little bit of finish first and just, mix up enough for a little tiny sweep on it. Let that go off or let it go right in and then skim it maybe. Jason Pask, hi Kirk. Great chat. Any chance you getting the missus doing some plastering? Yeah. No. No, mate. No. To be fair, she's when I did my sister-in-law's house, or was it the mother-in-law? I've plastered literally most of my missus's family's homes, like the whole houses of nearly all of them. And my missus from time to time has given me a little lift, fetching water and cleaning up and stuff. And she's had a little go at troweling up, but no, it's painful to watch, mate. And as well, you know what happens, right, when you're sort of left on your own with your missus and there's like no kids around and you're in a work environment and there's no one watching, flipping more kids start coming out. So it's best she stays at home where she's safe away from me. Act accordingly. Have you used Abacus Elements board? It's a blue waterproof type boarding. Yes, I have, mate. Yeah, Abacus Elements. It's like blue foam on the inside, and then it's like cement board on the outside, and the cement. Well, when I say cement board, it's like cementy black cement with mesh in the outside of it. If I remember correctly, Abacus Elements. But I've only ever used that when I'm tiling, mate. So, Bootbot Kurt, can you add waterproofer to hardwall plaster to keep damp at bay? No, mate. No, it won't work in a gypsum-based product. It's for cement-based products, mate. So won't work in. What you could do, mate, is instead of using hardwall, just mix sand and cement and add it to the sand and cement. It's not much more difficult to use sand and cement than if you can use hardwall, you can use sand and cement, and then you're using the right product then for like waterproof anyway. Kieran Thomas, love the Budweiser in the background. It'll look good in my man cave. Yeah, I think that was an Amazon job. That, to be fair, mate. That sort of went there because I can't put. Well, I could put a door on, but I mean, that's cheaper than a door, wasn't it? At the time, it was cheaper and quicker than a door because my couch is in the way and it's not measured out perfect. I'm short on space in here. Uh, PK Property Solutions. Where have you been? I haven't seen you for ages, PK. You can get the same result with a bathroom scale under the jack. See, I knew there was a good reason to come online and tell you what was going on. What a man. Okay. Right. I like it. You're spot on. The bathroom scales are glass. You know what I mean? Like the thin glass things with the little digital thing. I don't know if they're going to enjoy having a jack put on top of them. I've I've ordered the other scales. They're coming tomorrow. Amazon are bringing them tomorrow. Whilst I'm in work, they'll be here. So I've got a little my little Amazon driver. He knows we've got a little thing going on, me and him, because we have little parcels every day because we're all my kids. We've got a little hiding place. So I know they're coming tomorrow. Whilst I'm not here, the scales will be here when I get back from work. So they'll be fine. But I do tell you what, when you put minds together, why didn't I think of that? Um, Rich Ikert maybe look into Newton meters for the test. Do you know? Yeah, good shout. Um, Zola, and have you tried Thinkote? Uh, I'm assuming you're talking about the external Thinkote plaster. In that case, yes. I end up getting roped into doing loads of it, and I don't like it. Um, Mediterranean Media. Hello, how's it going, mate? You okay? Zola Kirk. Yes, got you. Um, Mediterranean Media. I'm new around. Well, welcome to the Crazy Farm, mate. This ultimately is a plastering channel, but because I haven't turned out any videos for ages, I actually like chatting with these guys. So we're just having a little catch up. I'm doing a test at the minute, a pull test to see which primer is best for keeping plaster stuck down, and also which primer keeps suction at bay when you come into plastering. And just filling you in Mediterranean Media on what's going on. But we've just after a bit of disappointing news, the scales that I've got aren't working how I want them to for the test. So I've had to order some new ones, and they're coming tomorrow, and I'm going to crack on and see how it goes. Um, but anyway, welcome, mate. Nice to have someone new around. Ryan MC, what's your take on plastering machines? We spray and straighten hardware and then hand apply the finish the next day. Multi and the dreaded Jura. Um, Plastering machines, I'd give it a go. Ultimately, I do internal work. I don't think it'd be internal work. I do domestic work internally. I don't think it'd be well suited for me. I think if I was on site, then I'd look into getting a machine. If I was all the sites I've been worked on were all dry lined, so there wasn't much to spray on. And I've seen finish being sprayed on site, and it's a bit horrendous. I don't think I'd go down that because it's just too messy. I spend too much time taping off. But for base coats, when you're sort of putting the big sausages on, that makes a lot more sense to me. But ultimately, I'm sort of like doing reskims on old houses. So for me, doesn't make sense. But I mean, flipping, if it makes the job easier and faster, I'm all for it. This doesn't take the skill away, does it? So um, Ian Ferguson, could you manage with your pickup if you didn't have to carry boards? Love the channel. Um, Ian, for about I don't know how many months it was. It was a good few months, mate, and I did manage with my pickup. That's all I had. My van, the engine in my VW Crafter, um, the top of the engine needed rebuilding, and I couldn't find a garage that would do it. All the garages I took my van to, the, the garage that I always deal with, I took it to them first, and they said, "Look, Kurt, we're going to be tied up on this too long. We've got to put a mechanic on it, and he's going to be on it for 2 days." He said, "Ultimately, mate," he said, "I'll just tell you the truth." He said, "We make more money fixing bonnet catchers and brake lights for women. He said, if I put a mechanic on this, there's my son. Wait there a second. There's the little fella coming in. Let's grab him. He's at the window. Let's bring him in. Pass him here. Let's introduce him. Come on, son. You coming in? You coming in for the 10 minutes? Come and say hello. There he is, the big fella. Oh, I've got him yet. Shut that window over for me. Here he is. He's just been posted through the window. He must be driving his mum nuts. Is he? Right. Now, don't touch anything. I know what you like. So I took the van to these different mechanics. To the first mechanic, he said, "Look," he said, "Kurt, we make more money doing bonnet catches and brake lights for women." Shh, keep it down. So anyway, you're waving at him and he's saying hiya whilst I'm trying to talk to these guys here. Go on, Scram, you're ruining me live. Okay. Look, you can see yourself here. Who's that? Jim. Little terrorist, aren't you? So anyway, that garage was no help to me. I took it to another garage that was recommended. They said bring it down. Then they looked at it and said no, we can't fix it. Anyway, there was loads of messing around, and in the end, long story short, I found a lad that would fix it for me. A bit of a backstreet garage, top fella, but he kept it for months, and I was in my pickup truck for months and months. You know, I'm going to tilt this so you can just see how much he terrorizes me. Calculator. I was in my pickup truck for months and months, mate. So yeah, long answer for a quick question. I can work out the back of the pickup truck just fine. So if you're wondering about doing it yourself, it'll be okay. The only thing is, in the wet, it's a bit of a nightmare because I had like a cover over the top of it. But ultimately, when you pull the cover back, everything underneath gets wet if it's raining. Right, Jason Pask. How's the new lad getting on? Fantastic, mate. Spot on. Can't fault him yet. We're going to give him a chance to settle in because you know new lads what they're like. They're great when they first start, but then once they get their feet under the table, we'll give him a month. Ask me again in a month and I'll tell you how he's getting on. Let's take that spiky bit at the end. There we go. Right. Dave Harding. Hi, Kurt. Too many people speaking at the same time. What about the suction test? How did you get on? Any surprises? Well done. So you should. The worst is when we charge them for love work. Yes. Right. The suction control test, mate. Yes, there was some surprises. I thought SBR was going to beat everything hands down. Now, I don't want to reveal too much. If you're going to use SBR the same day, it comes out on top. It's a winner. If you're going to use it the next day to completely kill off suction, there's like 3 better things that you can do than just use SBR. So there you go. Now SBR is involved in 2 of those things, but you sort of, yeah. I don't want to say too much, but I was surprised. And this is how you know the test is genuine because you know I love SBR and I want it to. So you're smashing out on me calculator for. So I work my jobs out and he's trying to flip it, smash the buttons out of it. What's the matter with you? Hey, just like your mum, aren't you? Yeah. There you go. Got it? Right. Johnny H. Sea builders just reskimming old lime on solid 9-inch walls doesn't seem to cause a problem when painted. Does SBR waterproof the wall enough to allow this? I would say when you're reskimming over lime on 9-inch walls, I mean, look, is it right? No. Have I done it? Yes. Have I ever had any problems with it? Not that I know of. But, you know, in theory, it doesn't work because the lime is like the 9-inch wall breathe. But then you get people that are painting, like, you know, silk paints on these walls. So it's sort of stopping the lime doing its job. I've only found there to be problems when you're putting gypsum base coats on brick that is 9-inch walls. I've never really found that you have a problem when you're reskimming them. 20 odd years. I mean, I've been back to jobs that I've done. You know, I've re-skimmed houses and been back and back and back over the years doing different rooms. And it's been that situation where I've re-skimmed over lime walls. I've never seen any problems with it. But that doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that's just how it's been, you know. And he's just clearing my desk off. He's just everything that's on my desk, he's just swiping off anyway. So we've got a nice clean space here now. Kevin Thomas, what's your own opinion on Artex? Always overboard them or blue grit and skim, etc. Kevin, I always test the Artex to see how well it's adhered. If it's well adhered, mate, and it's not flaking away from the background, I'll re-skim over it. If it's over lime wash paint, then I'll board over it. But if the customer's got cornice that they want to keep and they don't want to lose the cornice work, then potentially we'll take the Artex off, stabilize the background, and then skim over that. Mediterranean Media, what is your favorite types of bricks? I don't really have a preference, mate, but I tell you, I used what were they called now? Something blue engineering brick. I built my workshop out of just because the sofa been dense. James Carr, I use a pickup all the time. I've had to cut boards now a few times though. Yeah, that's the only thing. You can get boards delivered, can't you? If you just think ahead, you can get stuff delivered. That was the only thing using me pickup though. I didn't have a cover on the back of it. I just had a Tony U or whatever. I don't know what the flip it's called. Like a plastic sheet over the back. Do you know what I mean? With Lazzy bands on it. That ultimately wasn't very good for theft deterrence because you can't actually lock it. Your locking mechanism's an elastic band hooked over the back of the pickup, so that wasn't very good. But I suppose if you had like a Truckman back or something, then that'd be better. Do us a favour, son. I haven't got many of these sticky notes. Look, he's just tearing these notepads apart. No wonder your mum sent you out here with me. Plaster molds. Crafter engine blew a few months back. Was a Boss fan. There's a Boss VW specialist your way. And there's Whittle car care. Yeah, I use a fellow called Pierce Bennett, and he literally took the engine out. There's three of them there, three lads. They took the engine out the van, took the engine out the crafter. Like I said, a bit of a backstreet garage, mate. They did it outside the workshop. They picked it out and basically did it on the floor. All the bits that they had to do, rebuilt it just sort of where it was. And I tell you, mate, whatever they did, it runs sweet as a nut. Since then, I've been back with me Hiluxes in there now, actually, having all sorts of little bits and bobs done to it. Diff oil getting changed, gearbox oil getting changed. I'm having a Toyota alternator put on it rather than just a cheap chintzy one that someone put on there before I bought it. Stainless steel exhaust. Doing all sorts of things to it. So I just said to him, if you can think of any more things to make it better, just do that as well whilst you've got it. But ultimately, I want to make it original. You know, I want to restore everything back to its original glory. Make it, you know, not showroom ready, but make it, you know, so it sort of catches your eye when you go down the street. You know, because it looks brand new, even though it's 27 years old. Mbod, my little girl's 9 months old. How old is he? Yeah, we're there. Someone's just asking how old's the little fella now? He's 13 months. Yeah. 13 months old, mate. 13 months. Say bye. Absolute terrorist. Bye. No, say bye over here. Say look, bye. Say bye. Yeah. Right, go on. Let me just post him back out the window. Give us a second. You got it? Yeah. Oh. Watch his little head. There you go. Oh. No, you've got to go. You've got to go. There you go. You've got to go, son. See you later. I didn't want to go. He didn't want to go. His little hands are like that on the window trying to keep hold. Be good for your mum. Well, we can see who belongs to her. Ian Anderson, classic young man be skimming soon. Yeah, he's a funny little fella. He is. He just makes me laugh just watching what he gets up to. he's just he's just into everything non-stop. Daniel Crouch, hi mate. What would you say about the 30-day golden trial City of Girls course for the 37-year-old looking to learn the trade? Thanks, mate. Um, well, it's going to be a heck of a lot better than not going to it. Do I think you are going to come out as a time-served tradesman after it? No. I would say if you're going to go and do that, you are going to learn. It's going to be intensive. You're going to learn a lot. I don't think you're going to be able to come out and start skimming people's houses like straight away. But you're going to learn a lot faster. That if you go and work with someone, they've got to try and earn a living and teach you at the same time. If you go to Gold Trial and do 30 days, I'm not a big fan of these like overnight courses and all that, but I'm just thinking of it logically. If you go to one of these places, they aren't trying to earn a living and sort of teach you at the same time. They're just focusing on teaching you. So you're going to learn a lot more in 30 days than what you would if you were with someone. But ultimately, a lot of plastering is experience. It's not so much being taught. So you're going to learn the basics very fast. But then I'd recommend sort of going working beside somebody, go and be somebody else's apprentice after that for a year or two and gain experience. I think that would be the best thing. But yes, if you've got the money, you don't mind spending it to go on the course, and you've got the time, go and do it. I think it will benefit you loads. But then obviously you need experience with somebody else afterwards as well. Eric, ask the plasterer. How you doing, Eric? You all right, mate? I've seen your comment before as well on Danny's post. He's not coming up my way tonight, mate. I don't know what he's up to, Danny Arbuckle. He's not. I think he's staying down. I think he's meeting someone down his end, mate. I don't think he was referring to me, unless I could be wrong. He might turn up at my gate any minute. Ian Ward, what music do you listen to at work, if permitted? Oh, mate, you've opened the can of worms here, Ian. So I like Dr. Hook. So if any of you's youngins, you won't even know who Dr. Hook is. Your mum or dad might though. You were probably conceived to it. Dr. Hook. I like a bit of Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers. I don't know, Cat Stevens. I like Bruce Springsteen. I tell you, I've been getting into the Dead South. I quite like listening to the Dead South. There's loads. I like a broad range of music. I'm not really keen on all the pop, all the stuff they pump out on the radio these days. It's not really my thing. I like all the sort of like stuff from the 60s and 70s, a little bit of the 80s, but ultimately, I like a bit of country music as well. Jimmy Cliff. I can see clearly now the rain's gone. That song just always makes me feel better. If I wake up in the morning and I feel just a bit, we're not happy all the time, are we? Sometimes you just feel a bit like, bit flipping depressed or miserable. Put Jimmy Cliff on. I can see clearly. That'll just cheer you right up straight away. Plaster Moldings, send me his details. Need to get a new engine in ours. Right. His details. This is going to sound mad, this mate. I'll tell you exactly where he is, because believe it or not, because I've left him with my Hilux truck, because he had me van for 4 or 5 months, he does me missus's car for me. Here's the day. Right. I purposely have not got his mobile number because I'm one of them people, when I'm onto something, I can't focus on anything else. So if, like at the minute, he's got me Hilux, every time I have an idea, I'd phone him. So every time I wanted, new tires, right? I'll drive the fella mad. So I haven't got his phone number purposely for that reason. I said to him, "Don't give it me because you'll end up blocking me." So it's just easy. I haven't got his number. He just knows what he needs to do, and I just leave him to it. But I'll tell you exactly where he is. In Ellesmere Port, there's a pub called Madison's Cafe Bar. If you stand in the doorway of Madison's Cafe Bar, he's directly opposite. Okay, you can't miss it. There's like a little gate, and it just goes around the back. That's where he is. So you can't miss him. Madison's Cafe Bar is directly opposite. You don't need to phone him. Trust me, he can do it. Whatever it is you want doing, just go and see him. He'll do it. Like he doesn't do MOTs. So MOTs are like the bread and butter of most garages. He's not set up to do MOTs. So basically, he will take any work on. That's what he told me. He said, I haven't got an MOT station, Kirk. I can't fit one in here, or whatever he needs to do. He can't fit it in that garage. He said, so I'll do any work that comes in. I'll just do it. So there you go, mate. Madison's Cafe Bar, Ellesmere Port. Um, James Carr. I've got an L200 with a proper locking back on it. I love the old Hilux. I always wanted one since I was a young'un, and seeing the black one on Back to the Future. Yes. Well, look, do you know the L200s? My mate's got one of those. Oh, Stevie Gore, a plasterer. I don't think he's had any issues with his. He likes it. The Mitsubishi. I got the Hilux. I'll tell you why I got the Hilux. I was looking for the car for my missus. I was looking for the 4x4 that she could tow with, because she does the horses. And I wanted the most. I'm sick of cars breaking down, so I was like, right, what is the most indestructible vehicle that I can get her that's quite nice and comfortable to drive in, but also won't break down. I wanted something that would just last. So I ended up buying her after loads of research a Toyota Land Cruiser. Like it was sort of like the latest one out at the time. And she loves it. But through all that sort of checking the most indestructible vehicles, and then I went down the Toyota rabbit hole because to me, I just thought Toyota was just sort of like Ford and Vauxhall. It was just like a run of the mill, just an average car brand. I was sort of like, you get your Fords, your Vauxhalls, and all that, and then you sort of step it up to your Mercedes and your BMWs, and then you sort of go like your next one up, like your supercars and all that. I didn't know about Toyotas. Didn't even know that it was a thing, that like there's a proper following for Toyotas because they're indestructible. So after all that sort of research, then I found what these Hiluxes that the Taliban use in the deserts and all this sort of caper. And then that the Mark III was like the most sort of sought after one because it's got the solid front axle. And that was it. I sort of fell in love with them, man. Had to have one. Oh yeah, I got told off for buying that because it cost a small fortune. I mean, I could have bought a newer Hilux. I could have probably bought two newer Hiluxes for what I paid for it. But anyway, it is what it is. I like it. My missus hates it. My kids hate it. Well, they don't hate it. They like it when they go down the farm. They like going in the back of it. The kids like going on the back across the field, all in the tub on the back. But they won't let me drop them off to the mates with it. They don't want to be seen in it. They just don't mind playing with it. But anyway, I quite like the thing. Jason Pask, what are your thoughts on the speed skim system? I know you prefer metal trowel. Jason, I've got a speed skim. I use speed skims. I don't use them on walls. I only ever use them on Artex ceilings, and I've done videos on Artex ceilings on how I use speed skim for it. But I mean, I've probably got my own little system. It's probably not how anyone else does it, but it works perfect for me. I get Artex ceilings like re-skim over them mint with the speed skim. I mean, I can't. I've done about 3 videos on how I do it as well. But you'll have to have a look at them, mate. Daniel Crouch, thanks, mate. That's a relief. I have it booked in for the 20th of November. Fair dues, mate. Ryan MC, the only problem with the mechanics is. Oh, the only problem with the machine, sorry, is trying to teach the apprentice. Have it too easy, cracking the bags into the machine. We used to mix 30 to 35 bags a day, clean up, and then mix the finish on the afternoon. Yes. Yeah, I know, mate. I can quite imagine. Um, Posh Poo Pot, sorry. Yeah. What a name, mate. You got to change. You can't have that as a name, Poo Pot. Islands in the Stream, absolute classic. I tell you, my favourite Dolly song is Two Doors Down. That's my favourite song by. And Why Did You Come In Here Looking Like That? I like them. I like both of them. And I tell you the song that Dolly Parton did. And listen to the words on it. It's quite a sad song. Little Andy. If you've never heard Little Andy by Dolly Parton, go and listen to that. And what was another good one that she did? Anyway, digress. Matt Lawton just doing a bit of boarding in a corner as I'm watching. Fair play, mate. You do know it's 7 o'clock, don't you, Matt? Integra one. Hey Kurt, love your content, learn so much. Do you have any thoughts and experience with Sovereign renovation plaster? Um I've used loads of different renovation plasters. I don't know if I've used any by Sovereign. Let's Google it. Wait there. I'll tell you if I've used it. Give me 1 second. Let me just what's going on here? No, beat it. Something's come up on the screen. Right, here we go. Have a look. Sovereign. I'll tell you if I've used it or not, mate. Renovation. Sovereign. Yes. It's basically Limelight, mate. There you go. Flip it. Yeah. Simply add water for bugger off. Um it's basically Limelight. It's just nice and easy to use, mate. To be fair, them renovating plasters, they're always quite light and fluffy as well. Good for damp proof work, aren't they? Jason Short had a lovely day putting up 15 mil soundboard. Yeah, I'm sure you have, mate. I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't think of nothing better. Oh, yeah, I can. Loading 8 before 15 mil soundboards up a couple of flights of stairs. That's also quite fun. Hmm. What job was it I was on? I was on a job once for Redrow, and I don't know what had happened. They had the MF ceilings in, and I don't know what had gone on with the fixings, but all the ceilings were all soundboards, like what you're doing, Jace. I don't know if are you going over an MF ceiling, Jace, or are you going onto timber joists? Because we were doing these all over MF ceilings, and we did loads and loads of apartments, and they're all fine. But I don't know who changed the anchors or the fixings. But yeah, one apartment block. What they did was they changed the system how they were going to do it. They put the ceiling in first and had that boarded, and then the metal guys would come back in and put all the stud walls up. And the reason they were doing it is because these flats or these apartments, the fancy name, these apartments had all 45-degree angles everywhere. The corridor going down had 45s in it, and there was loads of funny angles in it. And they figured out it'd be easier board the ceilings right through and then fit the walls afterwards. And I don't know what had gone on, whether they changed the fixings or the fact that there was no walls sort of holding the ceiling up. But yeah, a lot come down, pulled all the fixings out the concrete, and the whole thing was on the floor. Well, the middle was on the floor, and the sides were still up because the wall track stayed up, but all the fixings for the middle, the grid and everything was all ripped out and on the floor. It was a flipping mess, mate. So someone got told off for that. Fortunately, it wasn't my apartment. I wasn't in there. I had nothing to do with it. I was in the one opposite, and we stopped. We just didn't go any further. Once we were still loading out when that happened. James Carr, I like Drift Away by Toby Gray. That always cheers me up. Yes. Yeah. Be loyal. Easy, Kurt. How's your day been? Had to leave the live the other night, but catched up on way to work next morning. Sound spot on, mate. Good day today, to be fair, mate. Just been tying up a load of loose ends, running around, finishing a few little jobs off, and getting things ready. And started the test. I wanted to film all the tests, but we've had to sort of can it and go back to the drawing board and order a new set of scales that are coming tomorrow, mate. So we will continue the test tomorrow. Ryan MC, would you rather dab and skim a wall or straighten it with any backing plaster of your choice and skim? What I'd rather do, if I had it my way, I'd float and set everything with sand and cement. Is what I'd do. That's what I like. Not a big fan of gypsum based base coats. I can use them, but I'm not a big fan of them. I like sand and cement. It's not sticky. It's nice to work with. In my opinion, I preferred it, and I don't like dabbing and skimming walls. I like doing it for the speed and for getting paid, but I mean, I just don't think it's as good a job. It's not solid, is it? You know. Poop pot. Okay, so I was saying this before to poop pot. You have to change your name. He's put poop pot lol. I was asked to think of a memorable name and came up with poop pot because Winnie the Pooh and his pot of honey are the kid's favourite character. I realise now I didn't think it through properly. Yeah. What I'm thinking of, mate, is my little lad hasn't started being potty trained yet. You know where I'm going with that, don't you? D-Law, have you done the pull test yet? No. Got to change the scales, mate. The scales, what was happening, mate? Save you having to watch this live right the way back to the start. I'll just tell you quickly. The scales, when we put them under tension, is great because they start giving the reading. But as long as the tension isn't continuously increasing quite fast, it locks the scales and it sort of doesn't lock the pull. I can still pull, but it locks the numbers. So it's for like when the fishing scale. So I'm assuming it's so you can, if the fish is flopping around, it takes the most weight and then it tells you what the weight is. Even if you change the weight afterwards, it locks off, which isn't good for what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so I can continue just slowly cranking up the weight until it releases, until it rips the scrim out. So I'm going to get some ones with a little needle instead, so we can film it and we'll see where it gets up to on the needle. Paul Murphy, how's it hanging, Kirk? Evening, gents. How are you, Paul? You all right, mate? I see sweats. Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. Oh, right, gents. These have been updated. I'm gonna go and it's Friday night. Don't know what the missus got planned. I'm gonna go and have maybe something to eat, a takeaway, a couple more beers in the house, and chill out. D-Lo, didn't know you'd been on it that long. I'll watch from the start when the live ends. All right, mate. Sorry, pal. Beat yourself. I've got a bond to. I've got to bond and blend in a few chases I'm making tomorrow. Do you have any tips? Right. Cut your chases out with an angle grinder if you can, rather than an SD because then you won't vibrate loads and make loads of loose plaster. What you don't want to do is make the sides loose when you cut your chase out because then it grows. Or if you patch up and you're a bit solid, then the sides will be flapping around. So try and use an angle grinder if you can, or chain drill it. Get a drill loads of little holes down and take the chases out nice and neat. Then what I prefer to do is this is how I do it for speed. Soon as the chase is done, get your sealer down each side. PVA is easiest to blend in, so PVA 50-50 of water down each side of the chase. Then mix up some bonding. Don't PVA inside the chase. Push your bonding in. The dryness inside there will take the moisture out your bonding quite quick, so your bonding will shrink quite quick. And as soon as it's like firm to touch, get your skim straight on. and blend in. That's ultimately how I do it, mate. Just for speed, really. But uh, South Oxfordshire plastering, out walking the dog while watching the live stream. That must be it, right? It's fair dues, mate. Fair play to you. At least you're walking the dog. At least you're walking the dog, mate. You're doing something productive anyway. Lee Martin. I have a question for you, Kirk. You might have been asked before. If you wasn't a plasterer, what would you be or like to be? All the best. Do you know what? It changes all the time, doesn't it? Depending on sort of, what you're into. If I genuinely could do something else, I would probably like to be involved with engineering on mining equipment or some sort of heavy machinery engineer. Probably. But then I absolutely love plastering, mate, and I love what I do, so I do genuinely enjoy it. I don't enjoy it as much as what I used to when I was in my 20s because I was learning all new stuff. I sort of feel like, still always learning, but I feel like, oh, what's going on here? Why does that keep doing that? I need to unplug my phone off my computer because it keeps doing the sod off. Yeah, the learning curve has tapered off. I've sort of read all the books and pretty much learned as much as I possibly can. So now plastering is just becoming a little bit more sort of boring for me, with not much challenges. Unless I would like to maybe venture out into doing more sort of specialist work, maybe more line work or fibrous work. That's why I was actually offering to work for free for the guy that was doing a lot more fibrous stuff, just for the change. I just get, doing the same thing day in, day out, just gets a bit monotonous. So it's nice to sort of expand into something new a little bit. Um, I've actually had an increase in interest in plastering when it comes to making these videos because I have to start, I make these videos, by the way, for me lad, for me little lad. So when he's older, I haven't got any enthusiasm left in me at all. He can sort of click on and watch, little methods for doing different things and what have you. So that sparked me interest because I've had to rethink how to explain things rather than just doing stuff on autopilot. I've had to, think and explain things better. So I've had a little bit more of an interest in it, but I do actually enjoy plastering. Lima, oh yeah, we've just been there. We go. Just on Lee's question. Do it yourself. Perfect. Thanks. You're the top man. I'd love to mix up for you for a week free of charge. I wouldn't have anyone work for me for free for a week. But if you're ever around, mate, if you're ever local to me, then feel free to give me a shout and pop in. Israel Adesanya, how are you, mate? You okay? Used SBR the first time yesterday for a couple of patches. Finished mint. The customer texted me 10 o'clock that I forgot to mention another one. Oh, that old chestnut when there's another one that you've missed. Just tell them they can do that one themselves after watching you. Frankie, 1994. Kieran was a lucky lad working from you, mate. I've been doing it 10 years now, and you're learning the new stuff. So, mate, hey, listen, I'm learning new stuff myself all the time myself, mate. It never stops. It never stops. Someone told me the other day something new I learned the other day. Never even thought about it. Never even considered it as an option. Log burning fires. Everyone always has issues, by the way, with log burners. There's always problems with cracking around log burning stoves, and the reason is because board finish and multi finish are only good up to 50 degrees Celsius. They'll take a little bit more heat. They will take a bit more, but that's what they're sort of rated at for. They'll delaminate, they'll crack, they'll fall up, but they'll shell off. You get more than 50 degrees, and British Gypsum say that's it, that's the limit. Like I say, they will take a bit more heat than 50 degrees, though. But I found out the other day that lime's great around log burning stoves, lime finish. So you can use lime base coats and lime finish. You could potentially use a sand and cement base coat and a lime finish. But lime is good around heat. So that's something new I learned the other day. I'm yet to test it out. I know it works though because I've actually done some. Well, not a little bit. I've done about 2 nights worth of reading into it, and it's basically confirmed it that you can use lime around heat and you don't have any problems. So just in case anybody's interested in doing that, and you want to know how to use it or what, I'll do a video on it at some point. But in the meantime, if you sort of got a job come up and you need to go and do it, rather than mixing all finish or multi finish, when you come to go, you're gonna need to do this over something solid. Um, I've never lime plastered onto plasterboard, so I wouldn't like to recommend you. Maybe you could do it. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I've only ever lime plastered when it's solid. So that might have to be another test as well. We might have to go into that as well. But ultimately, get yourself some NHL2 natural hydraulic lime. NHL, it's like 5, 3.5, and 2 are the ratings that you get. It's the compressive strength NHL2 lime. And mix it with a fine sand 2 to 1. So 2 sand, 1 lime, and mix it with water and use that for skimming around your fires. Problem solved. Okay. Um, it's not going to be the same trial and uppers finish, but if you've got a sponge float, you'll get there. It'll just take a bit of a while to go off. That's the only thing. But it's going to be a lot nicer to use than Vic's heat resistant plaster. I guarantee that. Um, Israel, got to go back in the morning. If she wasn't 75, I'd tell her to beat it. Yeah. Maybe swing by B&Q or something on the way there and get yourself some Easy Fill, Easy Fill 20. They do 20 Easy Fill 20. I don't know. They do some rapid set Easy Fills anyway, or just get yourself some half time, mate. A little sachet of half time. Mix that with your plaster to a ratio of about 50-50 and it'll set like that. Don't do it 50-50. It'll set too quick. But maybe if you're mixing, your water bucket, half of that with a sachet of plaster, by the time you put it on the wall, one trial, one polish, it'll be done. So if your patch is only little, then that's a half time. You can make it rapid by adding loads more in. Jason Besk, hi Kirk. You should have bought into SBR because everyone's using it now. I know, but do you know what, Chase? After the result of this test, everyone might change to something else. But anyway, we'll see. Yeah, it is good stuff. In my opinion, it's superior. It's far superior than everything else. I like it. You can use it the same. You can get straight on it the same day. It goes tacky faster than PVA glue, and in my opinion, it works better than PVA glue. So I like it, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. I've had a few people complain to me, say, I used it, it went off patchy, I don't know how you're rolling it on. I don't know what you're doing with it. I never have any problems with it. And I've been using it for years and years. So, right, gents. It's been lovely catching up with you. It's 7:30. Starving. I've had nothing to eat all day. I want to go get some tea down me. I just want to let you know what's going on with the test. So, guys, unless anyone's got anything else they need to know before I shoot off, I'm going to call it a night and go and get something to eat because I'm literally ready to start eating the flipping flip flop. Oh, I'll just finish this beer now before I go in. Oh, I'm losing my little office as well for the next night or two. My 15-year-old daughter has got a boyfriend, and he comes from. Now, hear me out with this. Comes from. Where did he say he was? I should know, shouldn't I? He's from miles away anyway. It takes him about 4.5 hours to get here on the train. He has to change trains about 3 or 4 times to get here. Now, the thing with it is, I was thinking, get rid, but no, keep him because he's that far away. I don't have to worry all the time, because you know what young lads are like. I know what is going on in his mind. I've been 15 myself. I know what the lad's thinking. But I don't have to keep my eye on him that much because he's never here, is he? Because he lives miles away. He only ever comes up one weekend a month. So I've only got him here I've only got to watch him for 2 days. I've only got to sort of keep my eye on things for 2 days, and then I can relax for the rest of the time. So because he's only texting. Who knows what else he's doing? But anyway, I don't even want to think about it. But when he comes here, he doesn't sleep in the house. He sleeps in here because it's all nice in here. It's insulated. It's nice and cozy and warm. Got a little couch for himself to sleep on, so he stays in here. But ultimately, that's my doings. I make him make him sleep in here. But obviously, then I can't be in here, so I sort of get kicked out for a day. Michael Dix, 1924, still got 6 minutes. Yeah, fair dues. He's a nice young lad, to be fair. Jamie, he's a good lad. He sends her flowers through the post. We get bouquets of flowers and chocolates turning up and clothes and I've seen on the phone he sends a big long text messages. Flipping 10 pages long of how much he loves her, and it's funny actually because it brings back memories of when I was 15, texting my girlfriend and all that, But it just gives you a different perspective when it's your daughter, doesn't it? I'm thinking he could get shot if he carries on. Lee Gold, love the videos, mate. Cheers, Lee. Thank you very much, mate. You're a gentleman. Uh, Food pot thinking of doing a brick feature wall. What's the best way to seal it? Mate, I don't even want to guess because it's not my department. I wouldn't even know. Best thing to do there, mate, is Google it. There's going to be loads of different sealers that you can use. I wouldn't recommend SBR though, and definitely don't use PVA. But that's as far as my experience goes with sealers. So, be loyal. Good. It's better than 11:30 and having to go eat your dinner up. Make sure you have your meals with the family first, then do your lives. I'm sure if the subs are loyal, they'll be here when you're ready. Family first. Hey, you're a gentleman. You're spot on as well. Who triple one? What have I missed? Oh, mate, all sorts. Gents, I'm signing out. God bless you. It's been emotional. I love you all. See you later. Have a nice weekend, fellas, anyway, yeah. But have a great weekend. If you're working, I hope you go and get loads of money. And if you're not working, enjoy your rest. Gentlemen, take it easy, guys. George, fancy someone squeezing a question at the end just as I'm going. What do I think of 18-inch trials? They're great if you're mad, but you'll hurt your wrist eventually. So I don't bother with them no more. But I've had 22-inch trials because I was one of the most stupid ones, mate. I was chief of the stupid ones. Everyone had 18s. I had to go one bigger. But ultimately, mate, takes its toll on your wrist. So I wouldn't bother. 14-inch, 16's big enough. Adios.